Blaire Sayers, before we went to the break, you were telling me you've come to in a personal relationship with Jesus at 12. What happened along the way? Because there was a little bit of a gap between that time and then what happened a few years ago.
Yeah. I met my wife. I was sitting in church one day, and this young girl came in. She was probably 13, 14 at the time. Took my breath away, and I thought, wow. And church was good. The young people was great, and I was chasing after this girl, if you want. I was learning about the Lord and young people, and I had a brother that was born 12 years after he got very, very sick. And the doctor told my mom and dad that they had to get him to someplace like Alberta where it was dry. He could hardly even go outside and play. So they decided to move away. And at 16 years old, I decided that I would not go. I stayed. I wanted to stay because I was going to marry this girl. Mm-hmm. I would stay behind. I was going to school. I would just live in boarding houses, and I would survive. And so off they went. I stayed. It was very, very difficult times. And during those times, I thought God was really not caring about me. I was poor. It was such anxiety every week whether I could find and make enough money to live in a boarding house, or you would be on the street.
So along the way, though, Blaire, you drift away from your relationship with Jesus and the church. You go on to successful life, with business and some riches and the things. Yeah. You're raising a family. Things look great, but you've fallen away. What changed a few years ago after this 40-year wandering time?
When I wandered away, I was looking for peace and joy. I didn't realize I had that. And I wanted security. It had been so rough my whole life, and I decided I'm going to become very rich. My God became money. Mm-hmm. So off I went, and everything worked fine, or I thought it worked fine. But when I bought a new car, I was happy for a while, but that was it. When I bought a big house, I was happy for a while, but there was still no joy. There was still no peace. I was lacking that, and I knew that. Always
looking for the next thing, right?
I could never find it. Yeah. I could never find it for those 40 years. I had a wonderful wife. I had 3 kids that I love. I had 7 grandkids. God had been so good. Mm-hmm. But I still kept looking. I learned after I went looking for something that I already had.
Jesus drew you back, and we're just about out of time, but tell me how that happened and how that has changed your life now.
I just pulled into that parking lot. I felt the presence and the love of God. I felt God say, Blaire, I still love you. And I responded, I love you too, Father. Please forgive me. And it was so instant. I have no idea how long I stayed there. But it was a precious time. It was a sweet time, and I said, Lord, kind of messed it up. You know that, though. Yeah. But will you take the rest of my life? And will you use me? Will you make me obedient? Will you make it so that I honor you? And spread the good news of the kingdom. Spread what you've done for me, that other people that don't know him, he's really all you need. I looked for 40 years, and I already had him. I already had everything I needed in life, everything that would give me joy and peace. And it was good to be home.
It is good to be home. Thank you for sharing your story. And I know Jesus is using you. You go to seniors' homes and you're telling people about this relationship with Jesus, including your kids and your grandkids. And maybe you're one of those people that maybe as a child or an adult, you knew Jesus in a personal way. And like Blaire, you looked in the wrong places. You tried to fulfill those needs in, money or career, whatever it might be, sometimes even addictions. But you know what? What Blaire said is so true. You can come home. And if you want to come home, I would encourage you to call our prayer lines, 1-866-273-4444. We'll be right back.